23. I know it's not a lot, but it's ours.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think the number 23 ever had relevance prior to 1984 in
I
any?
don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I don't.
Not at
I
all.
can't think of anything that happened that either anybody was the age 23 or what happened in 1923.
That
I
is
I
don't
don't
even
know.
want to know.
Wasn't there?
I'm glad I wasn't there. Things would be a lot different.
Right, for real.
Donald and Kenneth
And Kenneth.
and my partner in crime here is Tyler Allerding. Say hi, Tyler.
Gentlemen, welcome.
That being said, so gentlemen, Furlough Fridays we discuss, and I'll go over real quick. Fireside chat, just bullshitting guys sitting around talking about how this state of affairs is affecting our lives, whether it is or not. And we typically do it with a beverage. I'll do an introduction. We have Kenneth Thomas, kilotangoaviation.com. What are you drinking?
This is just some Jameson.
That works.
I looked at the
A
Hennessy
man
and decided
after my heart.
to go with Jameson instead of Hennessy today.
That's Tyler's favorite. All right, Donnie G, what do you got? So Donald Gardner, Donnie G, where you at?
I'm right here. Had to get this. I'm sipping on Captain and Coke. I like to say I'm doing my strategic thinking with the captain. This is
That's probably
do some strategic
that's
thinking.
probably sound.
I'm still in high school, or maybe just trying to still get into college parties and be cool by drinking. I'm keeping it simple.
That is like
you're too old for that.
the standard college drink
It is
for
that,
sure, but it fits throughout life.
Right. That or Keystone or Natty Light. I just can't remember.
Oh man.
Oh,
Stuff was very.
you got to go with Natty.
30 packs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tyler has the record. You guys don't know this, but he's about 6 foot 100, and he's a pretty big dude and could put down a couple cases, maybe. I don't know.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't like to brag. What do you got tonight?
I'm drinking Bell's Lighthearted Ale. I've got a variety pack in my cooler, so I'm just like reaching in and grabbing it. It's all Bell's. My neighbor went to Michigan,
pretty.
which is where I'm from, to see her family, and I kind of watched over the house for a couple weeks, and she brought me back a variety pack of Bell's, which is brewed in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So yeah, that's what I'm working on tonight.
Nice. Her. So this is a woman that your next door neighbor?
Mm.
Is she single?
Yeah, probably.
All right, we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm putting away this bottle of Chestnut Farms. It's an amazing bottle of Kentucky bourbon. If you're interested, it's not expensive, but it tastes really, really rich. So highly recommend it. I think you can get it at
tastes
ABC. I think.
expensive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it tastes like it should be.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's where I'm at in my life there, KT. That's where I'm at in my life. So yeah, we talk how this thing's affecting us. I'd like to start with someone that's near and dear to my heart. We don't talk about airlines if you are with one, but I know the airline you're with, Donnie G. And I thank you for getting on the bottom of that list because it helps the rest of us old heads out.
Get another hat. That's all.
I mean, come on. I'm trying here. I got to add to that collection. So where are you at with this? Is it affecting you? And again, guys, speak freely. We just kind of bullshit here as we drink.
So actually, it's interesting how COVID kind of started for me. I was really kind of at the height of my career. I was getting the schedule I wanted, the days off I wanted, going to the places I wanted. And I was also a budding entrepreneur with an e-commerce business. So kind of tie that into full circle. But yeah, the pandemic just kind of hit. I remember one of my last times actually going overseas. I go overseas quite a bit, and coming back and just having a feeling that things were going to kind of shut down, and they did. So fast forward, I was bummed out just because I was kind of at that point in my career. Everything was cushy. It was nice. I could go to football games on Sundays. You know,
you had Sundays off? Wait. How many years in you in? When'd you get hired?
5.5, almost 6. Yeah.
Really, man. So I was telling Tyler, I think it's like 4, 5.5. It's been that long, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would just
wow.
Like stuff from 2015, and I'm like, 5 years ago, really? It's
yeah.
So you can't call me a newbie anymore. I got called a
I
newbie.
guess not. Well, you ain't in double digits yet. All right, young buck, you ain't in double digits yet. Let's not get out of hand.
I'm not like the eighth status. But, so I was definitely disappointed. I was sleeping late.
Sure.
Had a lot of time off. I was, slaying around, just kind of on my own schedule. And I got in a conversation with my mom actually, and I got to give credit to my mom. Sometimes when I face challenges, she always finds a silver lining. So she says, "Hey," she says, "one of the things I noticed is you never have time for your small business, and so why don't you put maybe on the schedule a couple classes you can take, something like that, something to help grow your business." She says, "You've already grown it from 2018 to 2019, so why don't you take it from 19 to 20 and just see what you can do?" So I remember that day, I went on my e-commerce merchant's website. We use Shopify for an e-commerce business, and my e-commerce business, I own a aviation and travel themed store called DG Pilot. So I call ourselves a purveyor.
Can you get me some cool stuff?
I can get you some cool swag. I can get you our
I just want.
I really, really miss Paris shirt.
Dude, we're gonna have to talk offline for this the Sky Pilot
nice.
stuff.
E is in Delta, G is in Golf, pilot.com, and you can find all our merchandise on there. So kind of the bread and butter of the business. We specialize in these collectible scale model airplanes from different manufacturers that represent different carriers, aircraft types all over the world. So actually started the business 2015. Didn't really push it until 2018, grew 2018, 19 to 20. So here we are, back to March. Sorry, I digressed a little bit. But anyways, that day, I logged on to Shopify's website, and I'm like, okay, what class can I take? And so I actually took a class in advertising and marketing, things like that. That's something that helped our business grow, was definitely e-commerce, was Instagram, Facebook, our social medias, our engagement, the way we engage with our followers, was something beneficial that had helped us as far. So take this advertising class, when I discovered this cool graphic design program at the end, and just started playing around with that. And I literally spent probably 5 or 6 hours, and I'm like, you know what? I got to sell some products. So why don't I make an ad? Made an ad.
Nice.
Then I made another. Then I made another.
What was the first ad? What were you trying to sell?
I was trying to sell actually some model airplanes. Some I think there were seven.
I thought you're gonna. I was hoping you were gonna say like body soap, something crazy.
No, dude. A, your website is awesome, and B, these airplanes are awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate it.
We got some Pan Am, some FedEx.
Absolutely.
TWA. Hey, Donnie. So just so you know, and I'm interrupting, and I apologize. I will be buying some family Christmas gifts off of your.
You let me know. Look at that. What you need, and we'll get you hooked up, Tyler.
All right, my man.
We'll get all your
I think
the space under your tree filled, the stocking stuffed, and then some.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what this is about too. So don't feel free to plug yourself, and we'll put in the show notes. We'll put your website and stuff like that, and blast it out, of course.
You guys having me, and so yeah, I took that advertising class, and I started making these ads because one of the things that someone told me one time was, Donnie, you got to be different, and that still resonates with me till this day. And I said, okay, well, how am I supposed to be different when I'm a new entrant into the market? These other businesses that I'm competing against that sell the same sorts of products and model airplanes, they've been in business 20, 25 years, so they've established customer base. We don't. And it's just about the way you interact with your people and the way you take care of your people. And so our creative way that we interact is through our advertising. That's really, really helped our business grow. And then we had a small 300 square foot warehouse that we moved into 2018, and the lease was kind of coming up again in 2020 after our second year was near the end in that place. And got online one night, started looking at retail spaces. I said, hey, it's a pandemic, there might be a deal I can get.
Nice.
We like to call that opportunity.
Opportunity.
That's opportunity.
That's it. Gotta seize the opportunity.
Wow.
Seize the day. So I definitely seized that day. And there's a little storefront that had been empty for about 2 years, and it's kind of in a prime location in downtown St. Paul on St. Peter Street. The building that we're in is 100 years old. There's a beautiful French restaurant, a brewery, a jewelry store, and a haberdashery. So BA, when you come to MS,
what? Oh, come on, man. That's all you had to say.
So it has this little charm to it, and lo and behold, started working through the process, and then 3 months later, I ended up with a lawyer looking over my retail lease, because that was a piece of advice I got. Is you want to have a lawyer look over a retail
I'm
commercial
telling
lease.
you,
A lot different than renting an
you
apartment
gotta have it.
or a property. But and now we're here. I never thought I'd be in that spot. I used to go to the jazz club in the basement of that place. I used to eat at the French restaurant, but to be a tenant on the first floor
Dude,
and have
how
retail.
amazing is that? Like,
Hey,
you gotta, at some point, you gotta look out your window and just be like, wow, here I am.
Cool. It's really cool.
and on the opportunity side of that, and without numbers, and of course, this may or may not be speculation on your part, what do you think percentage-wise you're paying for that retail space today as opposed to if you would have tried to lease it, say 2018 or 2019? Half, three
that-
quarters? Any idea?
That is a good question. It's definitely probably more than half. I'm probably paying, I would
Wow.
say 85%. The good thing about where we're at is they do cater to small business, which is not the case when you're looking for retail spaces elsewhere. I looked at a kiosk, for example, in the Mall of America a few years back. They not only take your monthly rent check, they take a percentage of your sales, a percentage of
Ooh,
this, percentage of that. So it's just
They hit
there's
your
no
side
way
of the
for the
head.
small business to almost compete in that environment, when cost is one of the most prohibitive things that inhibits a small business from growing. Um,
sure.
so here we are, and it's really really cool. It's special to me. So kind of drawing full circle. My silver lining in this whole pandemic has been focusing on my small business, and I got something I'm going to show you guys that really really helped me as we grew the business. And one of the things that when I got into retail that I really had to focus on is retail. It's kind of like playing sports. You go out in the football field, you throw an interception, you got to forget about it because you got to come back out and play 4 more downs after you receive the kickoff again. So retail is just like
Well
that.
put.
You have a bad day, you get back up tomorrow, you do it again. If you have a good day, you get back up and you put that same amount of effort into it. So it's taught me to think more day to day, instead of necessarily plan things out long term. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having goals long term, but if you
Sure.
don't meet your goals, don't necessarily be disappointed by it, but just keep setting them. And the biggest probably takeaway, I've learned gratitude every single day. I get up, I practice gratitude. I look at what I'm thankful for, what I have.
Nice.
And that's just something my mom's instilled in me. My dad has as well. So that's me. It's a silver lining. I'm thankful for, honestly, I know we have a lot of time off, but when do you get this much time off? But I'm first and foremost
Dude.
thankful for making silver linings, lemonade out of lemons, and just everything that come along. Sometimes it takes, I feel like, situations and unreal experiences like we've had in 2020 to really experience this whole sort of like ordeal. It really is kind of reality check. It's a humble check. It helps you realize what's most important to you, but realizes that, hey, if you put your mind and you keep your mind occupied, that's really really helpful. And I think it's something that's healthy to you to help you get through this pandemic. Just keeping yourself busy, because I got friends that were texting me. They're like, I'm bored out of my mind of play Call of Duty all
How
day
are you
long.
bored? Like, that's one of the things we like to talk about too. We have another show that we kind of produce that not kind of we do produce, and it has to do with Opportunity Hour. It's called the Opportunity Hour, and Tyler heads it up. And how are you bored during this time? And I get it. I'm not trying to look down on people or anything like that, but it's like you have an opportunity. So much time has gone by, and can you think of a time in your past, especially us as aviators, where you've had this kind of opportunity?
Yeah.
Granted, I didn't know I would be not flying for 10 months, but
And people are always saying, "Oh man, if I just had some time," and then now they got the time. and
right?
they waste it. Like people said, "Oh, I just wish I had a few more days. I wish I had some time to work on this, work on that." Then they get this time and they just
So
like,
true.
it's like you're blowing it.
Now what? What do I do with it?
And that's
Now that I got all this time, I don't know what to do with it.
that's exactly the issue I was running into before I went to work. I'm like, all right, well, I thought I had 4 days off, but it's time to go to work again, and I didn't get everything done.
Yep.
So here I am,
Yeah.
getting to wherever I am supposed to fly to, and then working on the layover. And one of the things I wanted to do is enjoy my time, and the places I get to travel to as well. That's healthy. Is making sure you take time aside to relax. So
How are you
yeah,
staffing your
absolutely.
retail store? Are you in there open to close, or do you hire some people, or what?
Oh yeah, we actually have 3 part-time employees now, which I'm thankful
What?
for.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
So-
that's called expansion.
So you're providing opportunity to other people as
it is.
well.
It is.
Right? Yeah,
So
like really.
actually, it's really really cool. All our employees have some sort of tie to aviation or some sort of enthusiasm about it, we definitely look for that when we hire, because it comes across
Wow.
delivering that experience to the customer. If you can relate to something they're asking, for example, I had a customer ask me about should they get the Boeing 777-200 or a 777-300, and so I showed them the difference.
That's easy.
What would you get, BA?
I'm going at 300, baby. You know that.
Exactly.
It's got the bunk.
200 model. It's a bunk. See, that it's not the raked winglets. That's what I sold the model based off of.
Yeah, there you go. There you
The
go.
raked winglet. And so just having someone that's an expert in that field or very, very knowledgeable, that's something we definitely look forward to, and providing a customer, just a good customer experience there with that.
Of course.
And that's great too, because like you said, if somebody walks through those doors and the person staffing the store is passionate about, aviation, that helps as much, if not more, than the advertising you're doing on the online.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think
because you can't teach that.
No, you can't. And I think the biggest thing that you have to, especially as our brand has evolved, people begin to recognize our brand. And it's funny. I didn't necessarily care for the name of the store eventually. So the store is DG Pilot. And the way it got to be DG Pilot is my dad bought that domain name. And I asked him, I said, okay, buy the domain name dgpilot.com. He's like, well, I thought it was cool. It's your initials and you're an aviator. So I thought it'd be awesome. I'm like, well, Dad, I don't.
Well, militarily, you know what DG means, right?
What is that?
And I have in my past, because I was actually
stop.
I was a really good officer at one point in my career. I can say that now that I'm retired.
I was wondering, I said, was DG Pilot because you were in the Air Force?
A distinguished grad. That's what that means, Donnie. DG. That. So you can change it from your initials to distinguishedgradpilot.com, or at least throw that in there somehow.
I love
Feel free to put my name at the bottom, because I may or may not have been one at a time.
You guys, we need to do this because you cultivate just ideas. I did not think about that.
Cheers to that one. That's it. I was like, DG Pilot. Honestly, I was like, I thought that's why it was DG Pilot.
I have a feeling, KT, you may or may not have been a DG a time or two. You look the part, man. You look like, that you've done some stuff in the military that you may have DG'd through.
Done a couple things,
Okay. Well, let's hear your backstory. Well, for the listeners, though, I have to plug the fact that I've known Donnie, I don't know, 12, 13 years now, maybe something like that, for quite some time. And the fact that he knows that I know what a haberdashery is almost brought a tear to my eye. It's near and dear to my heart. I mean, we're going to make some clothes, man.
So Donnie, did you know him back in his Abercrombie modeling days?
I knew him.
Oh my God. Every time. Really, Tyler?
Sorry, dude.
Every time. Every episode. It was 20 years ago. I was a kid. And that might be the plug. You're gonna have Abercrombie and Fitch chime in and be like, "Hey guys, sue us or something." KT, I hear you're an aviator or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm a navigator on the C-130s. I just became a reservist a couple years ago.
Okay.
So I'm trying to learn how to be a civilian a little bit. See, I got a little bit of beard going on.
Yeah, I've changed it was Movember, this last, as we tape this, Movember just ended. And I think for every show, we had 4 shows over the month. I think every show I had a different something going on my face, and it's not necessarily pretty. It was, a lot of it is creepy, especially at the beginning when it was kind of coming in. Yeah. I don't grow hair very well. Yeah. Correct. But yeah. It was, and this is going to be gone soon too. Maybe, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the, Billy D. Williams or something like that. I'm not sure. Who doesn't like Landau Calrissian?
Yeah,
Kenny, where you at?
Oh yeah, I'm in Atlanta. I'm Marietta.
Where your reserve base is at?
Yes, my reserve base is in Marietta.
Okay.
So C-130's here in Marietta. So like I said, I've been here for a couple years. Just getting to ATL, kind of liking it. It's cool out here.
Very nice.
But I've been in. It's crazy because today I looked at my phone. I got a thing showing that in 2002, I joined the Air Force on this day. I was like, holy crap, I've been in the Air Force forever.
Are you serious?
Congratulations.
I enlisted in 2000
Today.
today on December 2nd. I said, man, that was the day I left and went to basic training. Yeah.
So in 2002. Wow. I was already
Yeah.
3 years in.
Crazy.
I think I
Bananas.
just got to my base. I just got to Selfridge. So, oh yeah. So the little backstory. So I flew Hertz for 10 years, man, before I transitioned over to KC-135s. Yeah. So I'm a Hurt guy by heart and soul and pretty much everything else. Every flight I would fly with the tanker guys here with Tyler's tanker toad. I probably mentioned the C-130 at least 3 times.
At least.
At least. And I would, stuff like
His license plate said my other ride is a C-130.
Oh my goodness.
It did not, but it should have. Definitely should have, compared to what I was flying there. I definitely would tell them things like, "Oh no, that wouldn't work in a Herc."
That wouldn't happen.
Oh no, you couldn't do that in a C-130. Oh no, yeah, they would eat you alive. Oh, is that how you're gonna do that? I love doing that too. Oh, because in the Herc we didn't do that. Really? Well, and they would always try to shit on the navs. It's like, you know what? I love my nav. I didn't have to know where I was going. Which way do you want me to turn?
Okay. But like, where am I? Doesn't matter. As long as one person knows where you at, you're good.
You're good. I love my nav.
My previous carrier, I saw a Herc pilot fly the best approach ever. I think we were on like a downwind to Providence at 7,000 feet. And I used to do some interviewing and help with the hiring at my previous airline when I was just starting out. And
that means he was a big wig.
Oh, I wasn't a big wig. I was an average person.
Average.
But they flew the best visual approach, and I was just amazed. Like, we got dunked into Providence, Rhode Island one night, literally, and roll out of the turn on the final from this visual approach, 2 red and 2 white. Just like, it was like clockwork.
Well, you know why that is, Donnie, is because there's barely any instrumentation. I got a feeling he flew slick E's, and there's no instrumentation. He's looking outside the whole time. His whole career has been looking outside trying to fly with a whiskey.
Stopwatch.
Did he keep looking over his right shoulder at like the wall, hoping his nav would tell him something?
There was not a word, and I was just amazing. Like, I had to give them so much like praise because I was like, I don't even know if I could do that. For that.
He's good at the low level stuff, and he's good at the approach. It's the landing that sometimes.
Boom.
Boom. Ooh. Thank God we got these big ass tires.
You're like, I thought all these landings supposed to be assault landings.
Right? Was he always looking? Did he always try to double check with you before flipping a switch? Like he wouldn't touch a switch unless he crossed it with you.
CRM was like awesome. CRM scores were awesome. Briefings were thorough.
Yeah. Like, you know why that is because if you ever reached up to an engineer's panel, he would smack you.
I did not know that. So that is kind of like the law.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's cool. But so KT, but on the outside, in the civilian world, you're a pilot.
Yeah. So I'm a flight instructor. I'm also I run Legacy Flight Academy, and which is a nonprofit organization that introduces youth to aviation. And then Kilo Tango Aviation, I actually started when the pandemic happened because I was, working my way to become an airline pilot and got accepted to this program. And then COVID hit and they're like, yep, canceled. Nobody's doing nothing. I was like, well.
Wow. Wait, so that's a different dynamic that we actually haven't had on the show. So we've had guys that were already airline guys that were on the list to get in furlough. For instance, Donnie, I think if it would have all went down, he's on the bottom third. Are you still?
Yeah.
So you probably would have come close, or maybe have gotten whacked. Maybe
been very close.
Yeah. So there's still that little bit of fear. Here you are, just trying to get there, right? So you got all your ratings, you got all your time, you're ready to go. So how did that affect you?
So I was, like I said, I just been in the reserves. I've been on orders for a while. I was getting off orders. I was working this thing, and it was like, all right, I get off orders on this date. They're like, all right, well, we can send you to start working on, your training and on this date. And that date was coming. They're like, March 15th. They're like, we're going to push everything back a week. And then they're like, all right, everything's canceled indefinitely. And it was like,
oh no.
I was like, I just told my unit that I don't need to go back on orders.
Oh no. Yeah, but you know what? You're a nav. They need you. So
They're like, who's gonna tell us
it's
where to
all
go?
good.
So what was actually
Yeah.
kind of cool though, through that, I actually ended up coming on orders with Detachment One, which is recruiting service in the Air Force, which works on diversity recruiting programs with the rated diversity.
Wow.
So I got lucky, and that helped me out. But it just, when COVID hit, my plans of trying to get to the airlines, it got delayed. So
Sure.
now it's just like I'm just playing the waiting game and just flight instructing, and just making it work. I was like, and even flight instructing is still kind of sparse because it's still as there's a lot of people who still want to fly, but it seems like there's still not a lot of people who are flying still. It's kind of weird.
So in the midst of chasing your dream and being a flight instructor, you also did you found this nonprofit?
So Legacy Flight Academy, I started. Well, Legacy Flight Academy, me and two other guys worked together for a nonprofit called Legacy Flight Academy. We started that while we were all on active duty.
Okay.
I think I just became a captain when I started, and I had just earned my private pilot license when I had started. I was like, I said, man, how come I didn't know about flying when I was a kid? So I was like, I got to find a way to
Right.
get other kids to find out about this earlier than me. I found out way too late.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So, and then Kilo Tango, I started just so I could find another avenue to teach people. Start a YouTube channel, just trying to give education on how to get into flying, how to get in aviation, because I just don't want anybody to ever be in a position where they just can be like, I just didn't know, because
Yeah.
I just didn't know. So I'm like, man, I gotta put it all out there because I don't need that to be nobody's excuse that they didn't know.
You know what's fascinating about that story, most people as they're trying to get from point A to point B, and it's never a straight line, obviously. You're focused on number one, at least I was. It's expensive, it's a grind, and you managed to, divert your attention to helping other people too, which is says a lot about you and your character.
That is awesome.
Absolutely. Even as a nav.
Even as a nav.
That's my whole career. Is like my job is to help the pilots. I'm like, it's like, my whole career has been helping the pilots not get lost. So I guess I can help people not get
Dude, that's got to be a tagline. That's hilarious. So I might as well help guys that want to be pilots figure out their stuff. That's great.
Pilots are lost. Maybe regular people is just as lost as everybody else. So.
Right.
I love how you said regular people, though. That's pretty true.
Anybody can be a pilot. I've seen it.
Right. That's actually my tagline. That's amazing, dude.
Kenny,
So he's like, if pilots get lost, regular people might get lost too. I like that.
Because we're superheroes.
Yeah.
Just ask us, we'll tell you.
Exactly.
Your story resonates really, Kenny, because my dad actually wanted to be a pilot, and I didn't realize that until years later. I didn't realize that, honestly, until about a year after I started DG Pilot, because he was always asking me to send him flight information when I go on a trip, fly somewhere, and I'd be like, well, why does my dad want to keep tabs of me now? Is this is he trying to just make sure that I'm all right and everything? And we had a conversation, and he would always post pictures of my travels, things like that, my sister and I. And then we were having a conversation at dinner one night, and he said, Donnie, he said, I really, really wanted to be a pilot, but I just didn't know how. And that resonated huge with me. He said, I called the airlines up, and he grew up Texas, the 1950s, 60s, young African-American man. There wasn't much opportunity as there is now out there. And that just resonated me. And I realized he was literally living vicariously through me because of a dream that he once had that he never got to accomplish or see.
Wow.
So that's why helping people is definitely something huge to me. And then we do that as a company at DG Pilot. One of the things that we're kind of doing now is really community outreach. we just sponsored a girls launch event for OBAB actually, where we donated some of our apparel, airplanes, things like that. So I'd like to get with your organization and see where we can help out too.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
I want to not only be just a company that where you come to that sells you model airplanes and you go home. I don't want that.
It's
I want
bigger
to
than that, yeah.
encourage. I want to be able to share, to inspire, and that's what we really came to the conclusion at a DG Pilot. And I kind of came to the conclusion that I want to support organizations that help others get into this awesome thing called aviation, because it really cool.
Tyler, did we just create a love connection, Tyler? Did we just
know.
Match.com these two businesses?
I'm in love. I mean, I don't.
I like what's happening here. I don't know if can it be called synergy or just love? I don't know.
Well, and
I
one
gotta put
thing,
my very white voice on.
This conversation is exciting to me too. Brandon and I have been talking for a few months. We've both been task saturated, so to speak, but we have this idea where we want to put kids in high school through essentially their CFI, single engine.
Wow.
And that way they can go to college and they can flight instruct as their part-time job, get their hours for the 4, 6, 8 years. You know, I was 8 years and I'm not a doctor. And come out and be competitive.
You guys do the math.
Be competitive in the aviation marketplace. So I think we should chat offline and see if we can all kind of put our collective heads together and see if we can make this happen.
And that's kind of where Donnie and I knew each other initially. Anyway, before he was had the big brass on his shoulders and on his chest and was a real live airline pilot. We were doing camps together, and through another mutual friend of ours that actually introduced me to KT, that we're going to be doing something together. And I really wanted to model the Pro-Flight Promise in and around that and be a part of that. And it does take all these different connections for us to come together, offer up our time and our resources.
So exactly how you're saying, I think we all have that same feel. And that's where I think when I got drawn into working with Det One, that's where me and our mutual friend ended up, we met before that, but we worked together at a summer camp that the Air Force had at Delaware State. It was called the ACE Flight Program. And so now this upcoming year, I'm actually running the Air Force's AIM High Flight Academy.
That's amazing.
And so we're giving students opportunity to go. It's from nothing to their solo for 3 weeks, but then we also have some more opportunities to send students from zero to their private pilot certificate. And it's just one step in it, but that's also part of what like Legacy Flight Academy do. We do a summer program that takes from zero to their solo. And so there's a lot of programs that do that, but it feels like it still feels like there's not a lot of people and kids that understand that this exists. It feels like the people that know about it are the same people that already know about a lot of this stuff.
Sure. And that's kind of the hard part is letting people know that there is a pathway. There is a way to get some mentorship to get from A to B if B is your goal. And we've done it. We've broken that code, and we have folks from many different backgrounds that have broken the code in their way. That's where the network comes in. And that's why I think we've been so successful in the past, Donnie and I and CJ. So CJ was on the show a few weeks ago. You can go back and watch that. I think that was 17, 16, 17. I don't know.
Later than that, I think it was like 19 probably.
Yeah, maybe it was. So we didn't get into that much. He's going to be back on the show when he's ready to do that. Understanding how to get there is you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head, KT, is understanding how to do it. And there are so many people out there that have this desire. They just don't know where to start.
You know, another crazy thing that happened over this pandemic time, I always wondered, like, who you got to know to, like, be like a warbird pilot, like who these people are to get to flying these old airplanes and stuff. I'm like, man, that's the coolest thing in the world.
That's right.
I remember always like, man, who do you have to know to be that guy? And I was at the airport one day flying with a student. Someone from the Museum of Aviation is like, hey, come check out the Museum of Aviation. And I asked a typical pilot question that usually gets a answer, like gets a laugh. I said, hey, you need some pilots to fly that T-28? And the guy kind of looked at me He said, here's my card. Give me a call. I was like, what?
Get out of here. As a matter of fact, I do.
and so I immediately, like, after I flew, at that point, I really wanted to cancel my flight with my student and just go talk to him.
You should have. He would have understood.
He would have understood. So I emailed him. He said, and we talked to him. He said, yeah, just show up to training on such and such day, and several other guys are going to go through training. And I like cleared my entire schedule. I said, I don't care what I got going on. I'll be there that day. And crazy enough, the thing that blew my mind was, I don't know if just people take certain things for granted, but when I showed up, I was the only one that showed up to do the training.
Wow.
No
like,
way.
I did not understand it. And I don't know if it's because in my eyes, that was just the most amazing thing to be able to just become a warbird pilot on accident.
What a story. That's a great story, if nothing else. And pilot ain't nothing but out of stories.
It isn't. So I was like, I said, man, no one else showed up for this opportunity. I said, well, I guess I'm y'all new T-28 pilot. So that was an opportunity that came from me just being at the airport, flying, and just asking the question. And so I'm like, man, closed mouth don't get fed, because there's no way I would have got that if I wouldn't have asked. Because he wasn't just walking around asking people if they want to fly. It was It was, So yeah, I just became a warbird pilot, which I'm excited about, because that's a new thing for me as well. So that's
Have you flown your first show, or how does it work?
No, well, that's where COVID kind of sucks, is that COVID,
oh yeah.
So the thing was, they're like, yeah, once COVID's done, whatever shows you want to fly, make it happen. So I'm excited, because I remember, I wanting to be a flying air shows and this and that. After I realized what it was, I'm like, man, there's I couldn't do it in the military, but I'm like, man, somehow God has made a way for me to get in the military aircraft.
That is amazing.
Find a way to go do air shows, so I'm excited at the rare opportunity that came up out of just being there,
Sure. Wow, that's amazing, dude.
And I have a feeling that gig will open up more doors in the future that you don't even know are the hallway. It's of course. The people you're gonna meet doing that.
Yeah, you're gonna meet some amazing people.
I just remember being a kid, seeing these planes flying. I'm like, man, I just think about all the people that hopefully I'll inspire, just being in the plane, and people seeing me, being like, hey, that guy's like me, I can do that.
Exactly. That is so cool, man. Well, we're going to be looking forward to seeing that. You got to let us know when your first air show is. By then, we might be big enough to host a podcast out there, maybe. I don't know.
Let's do it.
We'll have a Sky Pirates booth.
Hey, that means I'm going to have to get a T-28 model, Donnie.
Hey, we can get you hooked up. And I love that red tail that's on your background.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of our biggest sellers here right now. Some smaller ones, and then we've actually got one of my prize ones that we're getting is a signature edition by Charles McGee.
Oh, really? That's gotta be all good. So speaking of Charles McGee, man, we hosted an event last April at Tuskegee with him. He came out, spoke to the kids. He's participated in a few events with Legacy Flight Academy. Even when we had to go virtual this summer, he ended up getting on and talking to the kids and everybody about keys to success. And it was just awesome, like him being in his presence, man. Like it was just
Those guys were amazing up in Detroit. So I was out of Detroit for a number of years. I flew out of Selfridge Air Force Base, and every year we would have a Tuskegee event. They had such cool stories. You just around all that knowledge and all that experience more than anything. Those guys are in their 90s and they're talking crazy, and you see the light, in their eyes, and they love it. They love what they're doing. They love what they did. And on behalf of KT, you're entering the Air Force 2002, you said it was?
Yeah, December 2002.
December 2nd, 2002. At the recording of this show, it is officially, I think that year I turned 24. It's my birthday today. So here's this half-eaten piece of cake.
Happy.
And we're gonna.
It's my Air Force birthday.
It's your Air Force birthday and my real one.
Your real birthday.
I like birthdays.
And so we'll devour that later because it's my favorite. And of course, with another one of these. So that's kind of cool that, as I think I might have been my first. I had done some stuff in South America too. And so it was my first one over to the great beach over there in Central. I was thinking it was turned 24, 25 years old. Like I could probably do the math, but I've had 2 already, so I'm not gonna. And here you were getting in the Air Force. How cool was that? What was your first job?
I was electronic warfare technician on F-16. So I worked avionics back shop.
Ah, cool. So how long did it take you? So you were going to school at the same time then, I'm assuming. You were going to college.
So I enlisted, I got stationed in Italy, which was not a bad first assignment.
You were in Aviano?
I was in Aviano as a 20-year-old, however old I was. I was young and in Italy for 3 years. It was awesome. And I remember it was kind of crazy because when I was there at tech school, my dad, he was in the Air Force. He was at Maxwell commissioned. He had just became an officer. And I remember I went and visited, I gave him his first salute when he commissioned. Wow. And I remember he told me, he said, man, these lieutenants ain't even really that smart. He said, you as smart as any of them. He said, you just need to get this paperwork and get these bars.
There you go. There you go.
So, I went to Aviano, started taking classes part-time, and then I actually left Aviano and went to ROTC right after that in Texas, and then commissioned and went to the nav training out at Randolph.
So were you active duty at that point, or were you?
I was.
When you went to Texas?
When I went to Texas, they let me force shape into a ROTC scholarship.
Are you serious? What was the name of the scholarship? Was it that STAR something?
No, the thing was, it was the HSI scholarship. So if at that time, if you went to any minority serving institute, it didn't matter who you were, then you got a full scholarship as long as you met the requirements. And
wow.
You had above a 3.0 GPA, you could pass PT test and you could fog a mirror, you were good. So
you could fog a mirror.
So
that's amazing, man. That's great. Take advantage of those opportunities when they come.
Well, and that's the thing. The opportunity when I separated, it was they're like, well, you can get out if you want because we're overmanned in your job, and we won't penalize you. And when I talked to ROTC, they were like, well, if you join ROTC, we'll give you a scholarship. I said, but I can't join while it's like, now you got to be separated. But once you separate, you can join and we'll give you a scholarship. So I said,
perfect.
Right, let me do the math real quick. I said, all right, I'm separating. And they're like, all right, cool, you got a scholarship. I mean, it was the most ridiculously, I couldn't believe it lined up how it did, but
So technically you had a break in service though, I guess, right?
I did have a break in service while I was in school. I had a break in service. And
how
then
long was that?
Back, 3 years.
Okay. To finish school. All right.
Yeah, 3 years to finish school, then came back on. And then from there, I was on active duty up until 2018. And then I got off active duty, partially because my daughter started high school and I needed to be in one place, get her through high school.
That's probably smart. Yeah.
So she finished in high school this year. And
thank God. You made it.
Yeah. I just need to finish strong. COVID, I tell you what though, COVID didn't mess up her plans, man, because so she's my daughter, she's an aspiring fighter pilot.
Wow.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah. So she soloed at 16. And,
wow.
So she got a solo when she's 16, and then she got accepted to Civil Air Patrol's program that pays for the private pilot certificate.
Yeah, so that's a great program.
Work on finishing that. COVID happened. They stopped all flying for 6, 7, 8 months. So she was on her way. So the plan was kind of like you're saying, was to have her finish her private, work on her instrument, and have her pretty far off on by the time she leaves the college. But we got delayed, so now she's finishing her private, and then we'll see how that goes from there. But
those requirements aren't necessary to get the ROTC scholarships, right? Or to
they're not requirements. She meets the requirements. She actually let me take back the fact that COVID messed that up too, because SATs got canceled. Like,
that's right.
So although it didn't affect me career wise as much, it affected me as a parent trying to get my daughter through high school.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't a happy time having to
Yeah.
deal with that. Well,
Yeah,
that's
man.
amazing, man. That's great. Well, my hat's off to you. That's a proud dad moment, I'm sure. I know, it's not hard. I have a 16-year-old myself, so I know the trials and tribulations that they bring.
I'm
16-year-old
with you, man.
daughter. You love him to death, but there are some trials and tribulations.
Exactly.
So
I,
these two other guys don't have to worry about that.
don't make whatever you do look easy. Make whatever you do look hard, because these kids think that how easy we make it look. They're like, oh, I ain't gotta work that hard, because look, you just chilling.
Right. I get that all the time. You don't even work. I'm like,
You don't even
if
work.
you only knew what I did to get here.
All you do is make videos and go on podcasts.
Yeah, and that's what I tell her. That's what she does. That's all you do. You're on TikTok. I look at her phone. And it's got 20-something hours of TikTok time, and it's Wednesday.
Oh,
we're in Wednesday, and you got the week just started on Sunday. How you got 20-something hours now? Mind you, I probably read the screen wrong because I'm not the most talented when it comes to this technology, but I saw 20 and it was on a Wednesday, and I felt a certain way about the whole situation.
Right.
That being said,
isn't TikTok
it ain't easy
like
out here.
15-second clips?
Right.
Like,
for 20 hours worth.
Right.
How do you spend that much time on TikTok? It was amazing. And then the next closest thing had like 5 hours. Like, how are these kids spending so much time on TikTok? Which incidentally is probably why it's like number 2 for advertising now.
It is
Behind
addicting.
Instagram.
It is addicting.
I think that their virtual school is on TikTok is what I really think. That's how they're the transition to teaching kids math on TikTok, because that's about their attention span.
If they did that, we might rival China if they did that.
Right.
Maybe.
There is stuff on TikTok that's legit, like
really
business stuff too. There is.
As it started getting, as advertising dollars started going that route, it started getting a lot more legit. So I think that might have something to do with it.
I haven't seen advertisements on it yet. Is there advertisements on it?
Yeah, you sure can.
Well, yeah.
I haven't spent 20 hours a week on it yet, so I don't know. But
right,
I'll ask my daughter for you. I'll let my daughter come in and give you a tutorial. How about that? After she gives me one, I probably couldn't sit through it. I wouldn't know. I'm all thumbs when it comes to that, which actually might help.
There's a lot of dancing and stuff on there, but there's actually some there is an educational aspect to it, and I think it's slowly going that way. And I don't say educational as in like the kids learning, but yeah, dance-ication.
Donnie, you heard that? Dance-ication. I know. I want that on a shirt by next week.
Dance-ication. 24-hour express printing.
I did see a guy who like set up a whole series on how to start a business. It was pretty interesting.
Wow.
And he's got like,
yeah, a lot of people just don't know where to start. Or once you get started, how to run it. It's really like, I think one of the challenges I learned as I got more and more into the business is like, once you're faced with so many tasks, it's like, okay, which one do I do first? Do I respond to customer emails first? Do I, upload new product inventory that needs to be disseminated to our customer base, things like that. So I got to show you this really, really cool thing, something I did. This is a tip I just let to pass along. I'll be right back. I'll grab that.
Okay.
All right, we'll be here.
So
make sure you don't aim the camera at something weird.
Right. I hope you have pants on.
And all my apparel. So, anyways, this is really, really cool, guys. I actually saw this. Speaking of online advertising, this is called an Oak Journal.
What's that?
Okay. I'm going to open it up, and you can get this at oakjournal.com. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to figure out how to increase my efficiency, my productivity, and just remain efficient as a business continued to grow, because I didn't want to slip in terms of providing a good level of customer service, customer engagement. So it's basically kind of a list for goals. For example, the Oak Journal.
Nice.
It's super cool. It tells you the mission, the 10-10-10 rule, which is something I start my morning with. 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of reading, and 10 minutes of journaling. So it's basically puts you on like a 90-day track and setting
Is
goals.
it like a workbook too? And you kind of fill in the, okay. Yeah. Very good.
So the workbook through the journal here.
The Oak Journal?
It's an Oak Journal, oakjournal.com. It's highly, highly recommended. So
Cool.
It's super cool because one of the things I realize is I'm like, hey, I've got tasks that need to be done every day, some that don't need to be done every day, but some just monthly, some weekly and stuff like that, like payroll.
Sure.
We pay our employees every week. And so that really kind of helped productivity and efficiency in me, and just continue to give the maximum output myself every single day, and to ensure that the business is running at its maximum level, so we're keeping our customers satisfied.
Hey, can we get a sneak peek behind the scenes and maybe pick a random day and show us what your goals and tasks were?
Yeah.
Or is that too
Let's
personal?
See what you got.
Yeah.
How about you flip through the page and we'll tell you when to stop, and I want you to read what's on it.
Really, really cool. So I'm going to show you. This is what I call my game plan. Just like a coach has.
Oh, buddy.
I've got the game sheet right here. This is the game plan for the week. Every day we've got a game plan. So what do we do?
Nice.
I've got to order product inventory every day. So that's one of them there. Social media engagement. I've got to do that.
Really? So what day is that? Oh, is that that's on the whole thing?
Yeah. So these are basically, this is one of the checklists I do. It's called a non-store operating checklist. So we have a checklist that we use in store of all the tasks that need to be done daily. But this is just if I'm home, if I'm working from home, especially, or if I'm not working the store floor, if one of our other employees is there, I may be sitting upstairs in the office working on these tasks, doing our social media, responding to customer emails, things like that. So that's kind of the little game plan. There's a little cheat sheet. Don't show this off.
You know, as a side note, though, what you just kind of spelled out, and and as aviators, I think we just naturally do this, and we naturally kind of gravitate towards this way of thinking. You said checklists, and we're really good at creating those, following them, and creating checklists that are extremely efficient and get probably the maximum amount of output or productivity out of a thing, out of a situation, out of some sort of task. And we're really good at creating those. So for those listening and those watching, when you think about, oh, I don't know how to do this, I have all this time, or COVID really hit me, or the down slump of the economy, create a checklist of something that you want to do. How would you create a checklist for this thing that you love to do? Start there and see where it leads you. We're really good at it, and we know how to follow it. And more, just as important, I think we're able to create something that other people who aren't necessarily checklist people can follow.
I kind of do the same thing with Apple Calendar, and there's a couple things that's in my calendar every day that social media type stuff, engagement type stuff, like you said, business building type stuff. It needs to be done every single day. And if it's not in the checklist, if it's not in the calendar, it won't get done. At least that's how I function. And I think Brandon just kind of explained why that's how I function or we function. But it's definitely necessary.
Pretty efficient.
So I have a confession.
That's cool, man.
And I promise this is a confession that's okay for this podcast. So
to be honest with you, any confession you make is okay for
for this podcast. You can get gritty.
I was never a person to really use a calendar, especially like with my electronic gadgets, with my MacBook, my iPad, my iPhone. I never started using it until I got this Oak Journal. Now I'm using it so religiously. It's so easy because it gives me an alert like 15 minutes before I have to pay rent, to remind me. Hey,
man.
Yep. Stuff like that. So I'm realizing the power of writing things down, because I would kind of just write a list and keep a little notepad. That was about it. But that's really helped my efficiency in keeping track of things as well. So the importance of actually the tools that are given to you. We have so many tools. I mean, you can go online, for example, and find a social media calendar, your own social media calendar. They'll tell you what type of post you want to write to Instagram, to Facebook, to Snapchat, whatever social media platforms you use. So there's so many resources out there that you can use. So I just encourage everybody to
or you can just do what we did and absorb a social media icon, Love, Come Fly with Love. Feel free to peep her out on Instagram. And we were producing one of her podcasts too. She runs this company called Evokery, and that's basically what she does. So it's like, especially my old ass, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, if you can't figure it out, just find somebody that can and try to get them to work with you. And that's what we did.
It's pretty fascinating, the grind
It
behind
is
building a social media following.
Yeah,
Dude, it's amazing.
So cool.
It's not easy. I mean, these, there's a handful out there that maybe had some hit that went viral, but most people that went viral did it consistently and grew and worked and hustled. And
if you want to be consistent,
because people think that you just make one good video, one good post, and that's how you go viral. And what they fail to realize that they don't see, because some of my friends who are like really, really like those high number, 8 billion followers, they're like, man, this is all I do. Like, this is day in, day out. Like, it's
that you're referring to, are they in the aviation sector?
They are. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna need that list. KT,
okay.
We're gonna need that
got
list.
You. I'll make sure that I got you.
We have some ideas there too. We have a lot of offline talking to do.
You bring something up, Donnie, about business that a lot of people talk about, like nonprofits and things of that nature. And people who want to do nonprofits or want to get nonprofits sometimes fail to realize that running a nonprofit is running a business. Like it takes the same level of energy, effort, and commitment, and people kind of slack it off, like, oh, it's just a nonprofit. It's like, nah, like this is like real work still. Like this is like grind work. So I'm glad you just talk about your business. I'm like, yeah,
it is.
So
it's no joke. It's the same. I mean, I don't know why. I do know why, because it has that connotation, but you still gotta make money.
Right. Like people really do kind of blow it off, and it's like, nah, like you can't half do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
So I'm gonna check out that Oak Journal you talking about, though.
Check it out, oakjournal.com. Sure. You won't be disappointed. So it's really helped me. I mean, even picking up like a towel off the floor or something like that, I would just leave on the floor or something until I came home and picked my laundry up later.
That's honestly, that's how I am. Like,
I got to do it.
If I know that I need to follow up with somebody tomorrow, right? Like I talked to somebody today, and create a relationship and start, working on something in a business vector, so to speak. And I know that I need to talk to them and follow up with them in 2 days. It goes in my calendar, or I forget, right? Call Donnie at 4 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Like that goes in my calendar. And it's.
Did you just say business vector?
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. I should have left that up to the nav.
You're such a geek. Yeah, let the nav say shit like that. You don't say shit like that. You're a pilot. Actually, is he a super pilot because he is a nav and a pilot? Does that make him
he's obviously.
I'm pretty much better than everybody now because I'm not gonna get lost and I can fly the plane.
Oh, that's great. This cake is good, by the way. I wish you guys could taste it.
You said that you took an advertising class, and that was primarily focused for Shopify, right?
Correct. But so one thing that's really cool I like about Shopify as our e-commerce merchant is they offer like business development classes. So to help you be a better entrepreneur, to figure out simple things like marketing. How do I do Facebook marketing? How do I do Instagram marketing? Or how do I do advertising? What kind of programs can I use to make advertising? What graphic design programs are out there? So it's really cool. I love their support.
Wow.
As an e-commerce platform.
Is that a paid thing? Is that something you had to pay for?
Once you sign up for a Shopify site, I believe, I'm not sure if it is required of you to have a certain plan for the courses, but if you definitely check Shopify.com, because once I log in, it's called the Shopify Academy. And so they have all.
Okay.
And every once in a while, we'll get an email that says, hey, next Thursday from 12 to 2, we're having so-and-so from XYZ marketing company. They're going to talk about how to create the best Black Friday sale ever or Cyber Week sale. And they'll go,
that's cool.
Their story, give you tips, and you can always rewatch the videos. So those are good, just kind of sessions to help you understand what other people are doing. And I think that's definitely important. It's also important to talk with other businesses. One of the things I mentioned earlier, we're next to the haberdashery, we're next to the jewelry store, a French restaurant. One of the things that's been really essential in this pandemic is cross promoting each other and helping other businesses. So we actually did a pop up at the Haberdashery. They had it was a bourbon tasting. Really,
wait. Hold on.
Bourbon tasting?
Do you mean to tell me this haberdashery where I'm getting my suits made when I go to Minnesota
also
does bourbon tasting?
Yes. So this is
and then sells model aircraft.
And then
what more do you need?
Yeah, what do you need? What you can get your haircut. But they have this cool kind of event space that they actually acquired, which is next door to them. And so a lot of people use it for weddings, things like that. But they decided to kind of use it as a social distancing thing as well and have these events. So they had a bourbon tasting, we had a pop up there. So they cross promoted us, we cross promoted them. So that's been huge. And we were in talks with another a restaurant to do some cross promoting. Unfortunately, with COVID, the restaurants have gone back to takeout only here for now while we try to get that under control here in the state of Minnesota. But so just working with other businesses, you can always get ideas from others. And that's why I love, it's like proofreading your own paper. Like, you have someone look at your business from the outside and kind of give you tips, and vice versa. You can always just I love talking to other business owners and everything. So
I was gonna say you can really geek out on it and really create something that's amazing by doing that. You have to talk about it. You have to talk about these things for it to be successful.
And you can sell your own brand each and every day just by the clothing that you wear or wearing something that represents what you have or what products you have. For example, I wear.
All right, Donnie, I said I'd buy a shirt, man. Jeez.
Hey, I'm just trying to get you to buy two, BA. So I just show that I really, really miss Paris. But somebody looked at my shirt. I have a shirt that says airplane mode on, and they're like, airplane mode on? What is your cell phone off? I'm like, nah, an airplane mode. I like airplanes, things like that. Just walk around. And I think kind of the connotation before was that if you're into aviation, if you always were obsessed with airplanes, you were an av geek. And I am an av geek. I'm straight up an av geek. And there's nothing wrong with rocking av geek clothes because one of my favorite companies in Kansas City, it's a place called Charlie Hustle. So they make this I Heart KC shirt, and it's really, really cool. Kind of their way how they started. CharlieHustle.com, by the way, is its founder. He loved these vintage sports shirts. So their whole tagline is kind of vintage made fresh. And so they made it cool to wear like these old like shirts that look like they were made in 1985 or 1986. And then when the Kansas City Royals
hey, I was still alive around that time. It ain't that long ago, man. That's
what grade were you?
I was born in the 70s, man. Come on.
High school.
You're like, what plane were you flying then?
Oh, that's ugly, man. That's ugly. Anyway, let's get back to it. So
they made this really cool like World Series t-shirt when the Royals won and actually went to the World Series and then ended up winning in 2015. They said party like it's 1985 because that was the last time they won the World Series.
That was the last time
yeah. And now with the Chiefs doing well, they kind of came out with the Showtime shirts. They had the Patrick Mahomes gear. My favorite that I just got from them is Nicole Hardman. So Nicole is one of the wide receivers, and he showed up literally to the Super Bowl last year in a fighter pilot outfit like that. Because, they style out. All the players style out before the game. He had the helmet, everything. I mean, and his nickname is Jet because he's so quick. So
yeah, he's fast.
They made a shirt that says Jet, Nicole Hardman 17. So finding ways to be creative with brands, and they really inspired me quite a bit, actually. The whole brand is like, okay, cool. Well, make aviation cool if they're making, sports cool. And
have you reached out to them at all? They kind of, I don't know.
I have not met Chase. I hope to meet Chase McNulty, who owns it someday, but I've definitely listened to several of his podcasts and things like that. He's done some cool stuff, and they've given the community. But they have these really cool things, like all the barbecue restaurants. You can get a Gates Barbecue or Arthur Bryant shirt, or you can get like a Kansas City Public Library shirt, and just all promoting the community. So doing something good. So
sure, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, so I want to get back to your business.
He wants a shirt.
I do want a shirt, and I will be buying a shirt, and I'm probably going to buy a couple airplanes too.
Yes, he is.
Did you see a return on that quote unquote investment with the advertising course?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that with today's world, we are so busy with everything that we forget, oh, I have to go to the store or I need to get a gift for someone. So I think you constantly just have to remind your customers that you're out there and constantly remind them of your products that you're getting. So uh, I'll leave you with this motto with the advertising is I think, the more you do that and just continuous engagement is important with the customers.
And that's even you're talking advertising, but when you get into the engagement conversation, now you're talking marketing.
Exactly. Because we may get sidetracked. Let's say you're looking, you want to shop for a gift, but your favorite show comes on. You go watch your show, and you've forgotten about the gift, but then you come back and you log on to Facebook, and you see an ad for that gift that you were gonna go buy before your favorite show came on. So there's that whole connection to that. That ad has just reminded you, hey, I need to go buy my favorite gift. So there's that all connection to marketing.
And on that, and this is kind of I was trying to walk us down this path a little bit. The opportunity hour. I interview people like yourself that are pilots who have side jobs, or it's a small business that caters to aviators. That includes navigators, Kenny. So sorry. So anyways, I had a guest on, Joe. He founded this, he's a developer, and he founded an app for Shopify. It's called shopkeepertools.com. And it's a gift certificate app on the Shopify platform. So, again, like you said, promoting each other. I'd like to promote him there. I'd like your feedback if it's something you look into, and I would be curious to see how that works with somebody like yourself who has a Shopify account. And I don't know if we didn't dive too deep into that particular business of his. He's got a couple other businesses, one of which qreveal.com. It's a white label touchless menu. And he started this before COVID.
Wow.
Yes,
man.
And it's completely customizable. It's not downloading a PDF. It's like completely white label, completely customizable, and it's cheap. Like the subscription, I want to say, is like $60 a year. It's basically less than a meal. So if you guys know anybody in the restaurant business, definitely throw that out there too. Super impressed with this guy. He was awesome. His name is Joe Patterson. But yeah, like I said, did a podcast with him.
Which opportunity hour was it?
How
long ago was that?
This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, November 17th.
All right, so people can go back.
He is also a pilot at your airline.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Is he? Oh, I know this guy then. Okay, I remember when you interviewed him.
Because there's so many creative people just out there doing
Yep.
other cool stuff. And I say you have like the best job in the world, because I was telling somebody, yeah, it's a full-time job, but it's the best part-time job because all the time off that we get.
What other career field makes as much money and has as much time off as pilots?
No, none. I can't think of one.
None.
Which I don't know if we want to put this out there, but
we do, because we're promoting the industry. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you know what? And because at the end of the day, we put in a lot of hours going to just be getting there, especially once you get to a lot of time not making money to get to finally getting to becoming a airline pilot at a major airline. That's a whole different ballgame.
Like I looked up to you, BA, when we first met at the camps, and
I wouldn't do that.
I was regional airline pilot at that point, and
you were.
I looked at guys like Brandon and CJ because they were where I wanted to be. So just to have that resource and to get that information and that mentorship that all those guys provided.
And that's kind of the thing that we were doing too. It was kind of a 3-tiered thing. We had the youth program, but we would also invite folks that weren't quite at the majors yet to come kind of give their accounts, give their expertise, help with the program, help with the youth group. and then along those lines, not that we were holding a letter over their head, a rec letter or anything like that, but it showed us who that we could potentially be flying next to and who we want in the organization and who we definitely want to endorse to these major airlines that we represented. Because at the end of the day, everybody that works at that airline is a representative of that airline. So we invite these guys like Donnie in, and I would love to fly with Donnie. We haven't been able to fly yet because we ended up on different aircraft now, but there's going to be a time when I upgrade or something, and he's still, in the right seat maybe, or which is what a lot of these young bucks are doing. They're upgrading pretty quick, so they're getting to the left seat before I am, which is great.
I want to do one more promotion too, because it lines right up with what Donnie was saying with the shirts and everything. Had another group of guys on the Opportunity Hour. This is a while back. They're called they're on Instagram, but they finally started their website. They're called the real TACC.com, and TACC stands for the Aviation Creative Collab.
Wow.
Us Air Force guys know a different meaning for TACC.
Yeah, we do.
But they're tanker pilots at MacDill, and they have a bunch of T-shirts and swag, and it's super creative, super funny. And I can see you working with them. I can actually see both of you guys working with them, to be quite honest with you, if it's something you guys were interested in. But all of this business stuff and all this aviation stuff just goes together. And
that was one of the things we would point out, is that there's always, you think of aviation, they just think of pilots. And that was one of the things we wanted to broaden the minds of the youth, is that you don't have to be a pilot. You don't have to want to become a pilot, or you can at least, okay, I want to be a pilot. Fine. You start going that direction. You realize halfway through, or as you start the journey, you know what, this ain't really for me, but this other thing is, and it's related to aviation. So it's still related to that passion, and we can show people what that is.
Now, I'll tell you, like, one of the things I try to tell people and students generally is, even if you have no idea how to get there, like myself, I did whatever I could to be close to aviation. I became an aviation back guy. Became a navigator. I stayed as close to airplanes as I could, and eventually, got to where I wanted to be by just being in aviation. Like, if nothing else, be close to it, and you'll pick up on it, you'll figure it out, and eventually you'll find, the people that's going to help you get to whatever your final goal is. So
once you get to where you are, don't ever forget where you came from. I think that's kind of the golden rule in aviation. I know, heard people say it a million times, but reach back and help someone else, because there was someone that helped you get to where you are. I love when I see that,
without a doubt,
that link continue. I also see it don't continue, and I think that if we continue it, it's only just going to help more people that may not be quite sure how to get started in flying lessons, or may not be quite sure of how to prepare a resume for aviation, or may not be quite sure of just how to talk to a recruiter or who to talk to. So it fills and solves those issues and obstacles those coming behind us may overcome as well. And fortunately, I looking at the difference between my dad and I had a computer. My dad didn't have a computer, so I could go to the library and Google and find out with Barron's College Guide. I don't know if they even make that anymore. I'm sure they do.
I don't think they do. It might be online, hopefully.
And there were like 5 aviation schools. All right, maybe there were 10. And I remember getting the brochure to the University of North Dakota, and I'm just like, no shade on UND, but I looked at the brochure and they had someone in literally a parka coat in like January going through a tunnel to get to class. And I'm like,
no, you come down to Florida.
Yeah, they fucked up on their marketing.
Real.
Jeez. Oops.
So, Kenny, I think, I don't remember who was talking about it earlier, but I think it was you actually. We're talking about COVID and pilots sitting around not doing anything right now. And then we've got people like us who are just hustling, and there's still not enough time in the day. While a lot of people might not have that entrepreneurial spirit or that motivation, doesn't mean they're not interested in helping. Is there anything your organization could use in sweat equity or money or time, where maybe some of our listeners who don't have some vision or some motivation, but still want to be productive with their time and go that direction. Is there something that you need that maybe some of our listeners could reach out to you for?
Yeah, so legacyflightacademy.org, like we can always use help with volunteers. And even though you physically can't be there, as much time as people spend on social media, that's something that we can always use. And we talk about like, I think I know how to do, virtual, marketing on social media, but not like 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds do. So, I mean, even if you want to get back, there's a way you can get back to organization by helping with someone's social media. That's where a lot of people, spend a lot of their time. And everybody's working from home. So everything that we do can be done from your garage or wherever your computer setup's at. But yeah, just like you said, everybody doesn't want to be, the leading something or starting something, but there's always need for help, making phone calls, sending emails. There's always something you can do to help somebody out. Getting on the phone and just talking to a kid about an opportunity, helping them, talking them through how the process to get into college, recruiters, things of that nature. So, you can email, Legacy Flight Academy at info@legacyflightacademy.org. You can go to our Facebook or our Instagram and just reach out, or reach out to me. My Instagram's, One Fly Noop. Reach out to me, and I can always.
We'll put your stuff down in the remarks section too. We'll put your information down there.
And Kenny, I'd like to extend on behalf of DG Pilot to send you, and this goes for you and Tyler as well, BA, to send you guys some I believe they're 72 scale, but I'll give the scale, but they're our smaller version of Tuskegee Airmen red tail airplanes for you guys.
Oh,
that's what's
dope.
up.
Definitely, man.
That's what's up.
Send some for you.
Absolutely.
I'd like to send some over to them because, man, as I mentioned earlier, like I think a model, it can be having something to look at as motivation, something that you can use as a tool to help you remember, yes, I can.
Yeah. Well done. Well put. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like having something to touch, that's a real talisman. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I just visually, it's huge. And I used to go out when I was in college. I used to watch the MD-80. Man, that thing made a lot of smoke. I never flew one, but I works. And I used to literally watch that plane or a regional jet take off from our campus. And that was motivating to me. I just, when I watched the airplane take off every time, I just literally could picture myself, or tried to picture myself a few years down the road, sitting in the flight deck of one of those airplanes. And visual depictions like that, they're very, very powerful, or some sort of instrument to remind you of that academy that you went to, the experience when they met you, Kenny, or the first airplane ride that they took, which could have been with you. That memento is just that spark sometimes, and the spark that we need to keep ignited in inspiring someone to really pursue their dreams. I love it. I love what you guys are doing, man. I love all these organizations. I love what you guys are doing as business owners as well.
When we do stuff, just it's about sharing it too. Even if people can't be there for it, to be able to watch what we're doing, let's make this happen all together.
All right, gentlemen, I know I can speak for Tyler. We appreciate you coming on. Tyler, any parting words?
No. Great lineup, BA. Well done.
Well, I know some people. I know some good people. That's Furlough Friday 23 in the books. And we have Donnie G and KT. Sounds like a boy band. Can we? And BA.
Like everything rhymes, and there's fucking Tyler.
Tyler.
No, that was awesome. Appreciate it, guys.